Hi. I wasn't expecting to make a video this week. I got my wisdom teeth removed on Friday, so I'm very swollen. I'm still in a lot of pain. So that's why my mouth looks weird. I'm going to be talking a little weird. Now, if you're not aware, on Friday, Roe v. Wade was overturned. Because some people decided that people with uteruses should be treated less than equal. Not like we weren't already being treated less than equal. And the reason why I'm making this video today is because a brand, and I'm just going to say it, Maniology, decided to have a really piss poor take on the entire situation. And they decided to put that piss poor take on one of their smallest platforms, or their least interactive platforms, their Facebook. And to me, that was just a real shit way to start things off. Because if you're like me and you live on the internet and you see YouTuber apologies all the time, that's a pretty clear tactic that they want to be able to point to that statement in the future when it's brought up inevitably to say, here, look, I talked about it. However, by putting it on their smallest or least interactive platform, they're trying to get away with the least amount of backlash. Which, I'm not gonna let fucking happen. I don't have the biggest YouTube, I don't have the biggest Instagram. However, at least I have the balls to put my statement clearly everywhere. Whereas Maniology does not have that. So that's why this video is being created today, because I'm angry that they decided to try to slip this under the rug for most likely future reference. I think they should face repercussions for their shitty opinion. And by putting it on their smallest platform, they knew that it was a shitty opinion to begin with. So let's just get this apology clearly on the screen. Let's put it here. And if you want, you can take the time to read it. I did make some edits so there wasn't any overlapping text, but beyond that, I want you to clearly know who wrote this, because they deserve all the credit. Now, while I'm not necessarily going to be reading this line by line, I am going to be reading some parts that clearly stood out to me. The first thing that I want to talk about is in the second paragraph, and I'm going to pull it up here because I think it's important that you see this word for word, because sometimes I stumble over my words, and because I just had mouth surgery, it might be a little hard for you to hear it. So let's read it nice and clear. Read it with your mind, and I'll read it to you because my voice is just oh so soothing. Recently, there are social events that urge many of us to voice our opinion in our group, which is very understandable. We share our opinions because we care. What do you care about? Because it's obviously not women or people with uteruses that you care about. And then, of course, they start the third paragraph off with, as I am writing this message, I'm presenting from the viewpoint of Maniology. So you're saying that you're presenting your viewpoint from a business owner perspective. Okay, so just by that one sentence, we can really easily glean that you care about your profit margins, and you're afraid that if you take the correct stance on actually supporting uterus owners, you're worried about your profit margins, which, of all the times to worry about that, why now? Of course, on the personal level, I have my own point of views on many different social events, such as our educational system, gun laws, abortion rights, and so forth. Considering that the catalyst for this message is abortion rights, it's funny that you would stick it so far down your list. You know, we don't have a very clear and concise idea on what your opinions are here. If anything, somebody should have proofread this for you. It is because we understand that the foundational purpose of Maniology is to empower creativity and self-expression via nail art. Well, how am I supposed to do that when my government is actively taking away my ability to self-empower myself by choosing what happens to my own body? And how is that supposed to lend to my creativity? You very clearly state that that is the sole purpose of Maniology, is to empower me. So why aren't you empowering me to have bodily autonomy? So this next line is actually one that kind of spurred my entire reaction video. So let's just dive in and read it, because I think it's important that we do read it and we analyze it and we think critically about it. They say, towards the end, if you want to follow along, this means that no matter what your social beliefs are, we hope to have a place for you. Personal social beliefs are separate from the company's foundational mission. This means that no matter what your social beliefs are, We hope to have a place for you. This isn't them trying to protect your rights. This is them trying to protect their bottom line. Moving on to the next paragraph, we have belief me. Again, it would have been great if you had had somebody, I don't know, proofread this for you. Belief me. We understand that when we feel that our personal beliefs are being challenged, our natural response is to react quickly. This isn't my personal beliefs being challenged. This is my rights to my body being challenged. This is the most disgusting line. This isn't my personal beliefs being challenged. This is my personal right to bodily autonomy being stripped away. I'm at a loss for words. Maniology, why do you think that this is just a personal belief of mine that I'm reacting strongly to? Let's have an example of what a belief is. I think smoothies are best enjoyed in the morning. That's my personal belief. Now, Maniology, you might enjoy having your smoothies in the evening. And that's okay, because that's a belief. That isn't my right to choose what happens to my body being taken away from me by an incredibly small group of people who've decided to put their religious beliefs in front of my personal health. This isn't about smoothies. This is about the right that I have to control what happens to my body. The fact that you say that you understand my natural reaction to act and react quickly because my beliefs are being challenged? No. My beliefs are not being challenged here. My well-being is being challenged here. My body's well-being, my mental well-being is being challenged here. Like, this isn't about personal beliefs. Again, with that smoothie, just because, like, we can argue about when a smoothie can be best enjoyed. There is no argument about what I choose to do with my body, because it is my body. It belongs to no one. I am allowed to put as many tattoos on my body, to pierce whatever I want, to dye my hair whatever color I want. It is my right to dress however I want. It is my right to choose when or if I have children. That is my right. It is not a belief. What happens to me is my decision. There are too many times when a person's right to choose what happens to their body is taken away in society, and we don't need laws or the repealing of laws to continue to tell me what I can and cannot do. And I'm sorry that I'm getting upset, but this is upsetting. Moving on to just another criticism that I have, because they kind of let it slip. Posts are being monitored by volunteers who are human beings. You're not paying your moderators? I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. If somebody is doing a service for your company, fucking pay them. So not only do you believe that I don't have any fucking rights to my body, but you also believe that you shouldn't have to pay people who are doing you a service. Great. Honestly, fucking stand-up company, you guys. And yeah, moderators do have subjective inclinations, as you said. I'm gonna quote you. They do have subjective inclinations. However, somebody who does work with companies that I don't always necessarily agree with, as somebody who's performing a service for that brand, it is incredibly unprofessional for me to put my personal beliefs ahead of that company because I am doing them a service. So no, I don't think you're doing us a service by nourishing this community with your pretty average product. But now that I've kind of ranted and raved, and I know a lot of those thoughts aren't going to be clear, because I'm upset and I don't really want to spend the time on making a critical analysis of this. I kind of want this video to just be out and done. But let's look at a brand that I recently had some criticisms of and their statement. We're going to look at Mooncat. And while you know what my opinions are on their products, let's talk about their statement, because I think it was actually really well done and was posted the day of. Because what do you know? We've had a couple of weeks after the decision was leaked for people to kind of get their ducks in a row. Mooncat clearly in the first line states why this statement is being made. Today, Roe v. Wade was overturned. Very clear, very concise. Somebody had an editor. They continue to say that human rights are not up for debate. Good opinion, very clear, very concise. Because I will say that Maniology statement, not very clear, not very concise. It was a bunch of ass covering. In the second paragraph of Mooncat's statement, they say, effective immediately, Mooncat has rolled out a policy to offer travel and lodging reimbursement for employees and their dependents seeking healthcare services not offered in their home state, including abortions, gender-affirming care, and in vitro fertilization. Very clear, very concise. While I wish it wasn't a reimbursement, I can see from a company's perspective how it would be necessary for it to be a reimbursement kind of deal. They continue on because, oh my god, in those few weeks since the leak, Mooncat actually made some decisions and some plans, and they discuss who this actually is going to hurt the most. In this line here, the reality is that today's decision will fall hardest on people who are BIPOC, immigrants, identify as LGBTQIA+, or young people trying to make ends meet. They also continue in their statement to list some resources where you can take action as an individual. Overall, a really good statement. While I did make a statement on my Instagram stories, I'm going to continue to talk about this. I just think it's another example of shitty people trying to weasel their way into a small community and trying to take root there. And while Maniology has taken root here in the nail art community for years now, I think it's important that we pull them out, that we weed the garden a little bit. I'll include my statement for what I said on my Instagram stories. I very clearly stand by everything that I said there. I'm incredibly disgusted that they made this post pretty much the same day that they also posted some Pride nail art where they discussed diversity and equality, because it's very clear that their idea of diversity and equality is subjective and has very stringent guidelines. Honestly, I think this is their way to kind of make a statement, let it slip under the rug, and dodge any personal responsibility. And I don't like that. I don't like that a lot. So, if you made it through this entire video, and I'm going to try to edit this to make sure that it's concise, but if you made it through this video, good for you. I'm not telling you to throw out your Maniology products. I'm saying if you do use them, and if you do have a post that involves their products, maybe in the caption, don't tag them, and just say, I don't support Maniology because they don't support me. I canceled my code. I'm adding up all of the money that I made off of that code, and I'm going to be donating it to a fund once I have a little bit more research and I've chosen one. I'll add that in the description, or if I've found that already, I'll add it in this video here. But, yeah. Bye, Maniology.